my wife asked for a break, and, obviously I wasn't too excited about that. Then I found her with a family member of mine.
Oh, God. Who?
A cousin.
Dude, cue the banjos, man. Is this a big shock to you? What up? What's up? This is John with the Dr. John Delony Show. All right. Hey, Kelly, producer of the show, Kelly. Between this double pane glass studio that I'm in, this soundproof box, I can smell you. What is that smell?
I knew you were going to say something.
What is that? Like I can feel my eyebrows falling out. And normally you have a smell, but this is worse. What is that?
I hate you. I really do.
What is it?
My dog last night got full force sprayed by a skunk.
Dang, Gina.
Yeah, it's been a long night at our house, and like all the blood vessels in my eyes are broken, and then he ran in the house, of course.
Of course.
Because he was terrified.
Yes.
But his whole eyes were swollen shut. It was very pitiful. But I mean, he was dripping. It was so, and he's like a 25-pound dog, so he's not a big dog. And we had to bathe him multiple times. I've showered multiple times.
You have not.
If you only knew how many times I had. And
that's like your monthly quota in one night.
I'm done. I'm done for the summer.
Man.
No, and I mean, yeah, we've, taken sheets off the bed because, of course, he jumped up on things because he was trying to get it off. And it was a long night in the Daniel household.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're not, actually. Actually, we are. But good God almighty, it smells. Hey, if you want to be on this show talking about your mental and emotional health, or your friends or your colleagues that just show up to work smelling like somebody died 4.5 weeks ago and they got sprayed by a skunk. Hey, johndelony.com/ask. This is probably the best intro of the show ever, of all time. Let's go out to Gainesville, Florida, and talk to Roberto. What's up, Robert?
Good morning, Dr. John. How are you?
I'm great, brother. How are you, man?
I'm hanging in there.
Excellent. What's up, dude?
So my question is, how do I kind of move on with life and kind of use my energy in a productive way? Little backstory. Beginning of last year, I had a medical scare. I was in the hospital for a little while. Never had that before. Then shortly after that, my wife at the time asked for a break. And, obviously I wasn't too excited about that. Then I found her with a family member of mine.
Oh, God. Who?
A cousin.
Dude, cue the banjos, man. Is this a big shock to you?
So she had a couple of instances of infidelity prior to that that I had found on her devices. She always swore it was nothing physical. It was just talking or exchanging pictures and stuff. So, I tried to move past that beforehand. But, it got to this, and this was a huge shock right after, the medical scare. We have a 3-year-old daughter, so, that made it.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah.
What was the medical scare?
Had kidney stones that I ended up going septic, got a staph infection, spent a week in the hospital, then I had a IV drip line in me for a month after that. So
you've been through it this last year, man. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, it's been a rough one, that's for sure.
Who's got custody of that 3-year-old girl?
So we have equal custody, 50-50. She actually, the ex-wife, we ended up going through all that, got the divorce last year. She has since moved in with said cousin. They actually just had a child on almost the year anniversary of me finding all of this out.
God, this is like a country song.
Yeah, a really bad one.
Yeah, so your 3-year-old daughter is going to be half sisters or half brothers with her, or half sisters with her cousin too?
So it's not technically not a blood cousin. Someone I've known their family my whole life. So, like, not actual blood, but, considered family.
Jeez, I'm sorry, man. All right, so how can I help, dude? What a mess.
So I'm just kind of, I don't know, feel like I'm floating through the wind.
Yeah.
When all that went down, I was working for a company for 12 years. That was not looking great, company-wide, not just because of what I had going on. So I moved to a different company. It's been decent here, but I just kind of feel like, I'm just kind of floating in the wind. The days that I don't have my daughter, are obviously really hard. It's really hard to like find motivation to get up and like do much of anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I can't wrap my head around the pain you've experienced. Well, I mean, just like to put it down on a piece of paper, like you're faced with this shock, right? Like that your body's failing you, right? And there's that sense of being betrayed by your own body, especially in a tough time. And most people don't realize that can happen like over a weekend until it happens over a weekend, right? That you have a pain, all of a sudden that pain is real bad, and then you got kidney stones, and all of a sudden you find yourself, geez, a PICC line, and that's a nightmare. And then on top of forgiveness and your wife betraying, here's the thing, you knew for a while, and you ignored your own gut for whatever reason, and to see that come true is devastating. And then I wouldn't wish. I've said this before on the show. I don't like to be gone from my son or my daughter for 3 days, much less just know, oh, this is the rest of my childhood, right? I mean, the rest of her childhood is I get week on, week off. Mm-hmm. And then the extra kick in the teeth is, oh, cool, she just moved in with a family member and had a kid with him, which just a slap in the face on top of a slap in the face, man. So let me just say this. Your body's right to just want to get under the covers and not get out. Okay. And I know there's a sense of, on top of the shame, on top of the I should have listened to my gut, on top of all that stuff, there's this sense that your body's not working right. And I might be the only mental health professional that would tell you, no, your body's working perfectly. This idea that you just want to, your body just feels like you don't want to curl up and I want to stay on the couch under a blanket and not want to move. I just want to be here. That feeling is right. We're not going to live there, but I want you to know that that sense makes sense to me. Okay. The big question I want to ask you is, like, you're at a fork in the road, and there's a lot of grieving and a lot of being sad and a lot of being heartbroken. Have you rolled over into anger and rage yet? Or are you not there yet?
That hit me in the beginning pretty hard. I think I've calmed down with it on the anger side. I did do some therapy there for a while, but it got to be too expensive.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I guess where I'm at is like I don't know if I've like fully accepted the reality of everything that went down and how I let it get to that point.
You won't for a while. It will wave over you like sitting at the beach. And it'll be fine, and then a big wave will hit you one day. And that's just part of this grieving process that you're going to go through. And I'm going to challenge you to not put your head in the sand and just let it happen like you've done with your marriage, like you've probably done with other things in your life. And I think this is a moment when I want to challenge you to stand up on 2 feet and accept and take some of this. Take the waves hitting you, because that's part of the grieving process. Or let me say it another way. It will emerge in your life again. And the more you face it now, and the more you have a plan to do something and you just let yourself be sad one day, and the more you fight and scratch and claw, and maybe you don't go every week to see a counselor, but you go once every 2 weeks, or you join a group of divorced dads, which is embarrassing and shameful and all that. The more you do that now, the better chance you have of getting your feet underneath you and heading into what is the next part of your life. How old are you?
28.
28. Yeah, dude, you're still, I mean, You're barely starting the second quarter of the game that's your life. You know what I mean? You got a long road ahead of you. So here's the question I got for you. This is a scary question. What do you want to do next?
I mean, I want to show up for my daughter,
Okay.
in the best possible way that I can, and want to get to the point, where I'm comfortable being me, being alone with me.
Okay.
Again.
So here's the heartbreaking challenge that's ahead of you that I think you are 1,000% capable of. Is the way to show up for your daughter is to begin to keep your promises to yourself. And the way to keep your promises to yourself is to, A, get a group around. You cannot do this by yourself. Grief demands a witness, as Kessler says. You got to have a group of people, a group of guys that you can call, you can text, that on a regular basis you sit with. And that can be a group, that can be a couple of buddies who just show up at your house on the alternate weeks when your kid's gone, and you just say, I'm going to do grilling night, and they show up on Wednesday nights and y'all grill out and have a beer and laugh or watch old Will Ferrell video, but you got a group of guys with you. And I'm not saying it has to be kumbaya and you don't have to sit in the circle and sing songs and hold hands. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's this sense of, I'm going to not intellectualize this. I'm going to prove to my body through repetition that I'm worth having friends and I'm worth people being around. And then you're going to have to make some choices about, on the days I don't want to, especially on the weeks off, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go work out. And I'm not going to do 4 hours one day and then be so sore I can't move the rest of the week, but I'm going to go do 30 minutes. And that might be as simple as getting a backpack and putting some weights in it and just going for a walk for 30 minutes. If you're not an exercise guy, that might mean going to a local gym. That might mean any number of things. Getting some dumbbells and working out in your garage, but doing something that is going to help your physical body, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then I want you to be honest about your job. If you hate your job, this is an amazing moment in history when at 28, and you have every other week without childhood responsibilities, without kid responsibilities, that you can get another degree, you can get retrained, you can go practice. You get what I'm saying? You can begin to say, okay, for the first time in my freaking life, what do I want to do? And here's the thing. A dad who has taken ownership of his physical body. And I'm not saying like snap into a Slim Jim. Not what I'm talking about. Take a lot of protein. Not that. But a dad who is taking care of himself. A dad who's got other male friends that he does things with. A dad who's got a spiritual life in order. A dad who professionally is leaning towards the person he wants to be. Who do you want to help in the world? And then I'm going to go pursue that. That's a dad that's going to show up for his daughter. Otherwise, here's what's going to happen. You're going to chase around a 3-year-old who becomes a 7-year-old who becomes a 14-year-old, and you're going to think showing up for her is just doing whatever she wants you to do on the few days a week, every month you have her. And that's a recipe for you, yet again, not following your gut and showing up and just trying to be whoever the person in front of you wants you to be, instead of your daughter getting to anchor into a grown man, which is the greatest gift you can give her. So what's your next move?
Well, I think I need to set myself up to follow through.
Okay. Can I ask you a couple of just basic entry questions?
Sure.
How much money do you owe? Like if you took all your credit cards and your car payment and all that stuff and you just wrote it down, about how much do you owe? Student loans, all that.
Including the house?
Nope, not including the house.
Okay. All the other stuff, probably around $60,000.
Okay. How much do you owe on your house?
110.
How much is it worth?
220 probably.
Okay. Did your wife sign it over to you?
Yeah.
Okay. How much do you make in your job?
With the new job I have now, probably around $55K a year.
Okay. I want to challenge you on two things. I want you to work maniacally, like a lunatic, to not owe anybody anything. Okay? And I almost never recommend this, but you might consider selling your house and moving to an apartment. That house has ghosts in it anyway. And
I thought about that.
Pay off everything you own and commit nobody will ever own me again, both emotionally or financially. And then you make 55 a year. I want you to have an 18-month goal to at least be at 75, but preferably double it. And I know people are listening like, you don't even understand. I do understand.
Yeah, I'm on the cusp of a promotion where I work, so
Okay.
hoping that's gonna.
But here's what. Yeah, we're done hoping. Okay, hope is an action. Actually, we're not done hoping. We're done wishing. Hope is an action, and here's what I promise you: if you position yourself where you don't owe anybody any money, you waltz into work differently. When you're at the gym every morning, even if you're only there for a little bit, you walk into work differently. You talk to customers differently. And it's that little bitty edge that your boss says, that's my guy. And it's not I hope I get this promotion because then it's going to change. It's not. It's just going to swell up. And then your wife's going to say, hey, you got that new job. Daughter needs shoes. And you'll be like, okay, I'll get 4 pair. And then you're just going to be chasing your tail again. But if you put some stakes in the ground, I'm a man who does not owe anybody any money because that's my new identity. I'm a guy who takes care of myself because that's what my daughter deserves and that's what I deserve. I'm a guy who's going to go back to a church. I don't care which one, I'll go to anyone because I'm a man who takes a knee before something bigger than me. And if you hear my voice getting like I'm passionate about this, about men who have been told their whole lives that if you wiggle in class, something's wrong with your brain. And if your wife leaves you for your cousin, that somehow you're a loser and you're shameful. I'm sick of all that stuff. But I want you to stand up for the first time and say, I'm 28 years old. My name is Robert from Florida, and it's game on day one. But I can't want this more than you do.
I want it.
Okay. Then here's what I'm going to hook you up with, okay? I'm going to hook you up with several things. I'm going to hook you up with my buddy Dave Ramsey's book, Total Money Makeover. I want you to follow that thing. Okay? Don't deviate from it. The second thing is I'm going to send you my book, Building a Non-Anxious Life. I want that to be your roadmap for your life, okay?
Okay.
The third thing is I'm going to send you an app. I'm going to send you the Every Dollar app, the premium version. You can link with your bank, and you're going to have a budget for the first time in your freaking life, and you're not going to deviate from it, okay?
Okay.
And I want you to consider ASAP, we're in the hot market season right now. Consider putting your house on the market. Get yourself a really sweet 2-bedroom apartment. Pay off everything you owe. Take the other $40,000 that you're going to pocket and put it in an emergency fund. And now you're your own bank. Nobody owns Robert. You got it?
I do.
And then I'm going to hook you up with a few months free with my friends at Trainwell. And I'm going to give you, it's going to be an app and a personal trainer. And I want you to start exercising today. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Game on?
Game on.
Day one. Here's the deal. You got to call me back in 90 days. I want to hear where you're at.
Okay.
Here's my hope for you. In 90 days, you don't owe anybody anything. You got 90 days of exercise and you're down 10 pounds. And you got this promotion, and now we're moving. And now your daughter's going to walk into the house and feel, because the life she lives at the other house is chaotic and kinetic, and she's not going to get that at dad's house. She's going to get something at your house that every kid in the world is desperate for, and very few kids have anymore, and that is peace. Day one, brother, game on. You call me anytime, man, but I want to hear from you in 90 days and see where you're at. We come back. A woman wonders how to ask for help after being let down. We are coming to the end of summer and things are bonkers. I got in my truck this morning and I was flying to work because I was a little bit late like always. And on the way, I made sure I put on my Hallow app. It's the #1 prayer and meditation app in the world. And I've gotten to where I listen to it on the way to work every single day. And if you're like me, we're all juggling work, family, and a million other things. We're closing down the summer, getting ready for school already, plus all the geopolitical wildness. And in this chaos, we often forget to pause and reflect. Creating peace in our life doesn't just happen. We have to choose it. We have to make space for it. And that is where Hallow comes in. Hallow provides you amazing opportunities to slow down and reconnect with what matters most. One of the best features on Hallow is the Daily Reflections with Jeff Cavins, because he helps you connect scripture to real-life joys and real-life challenges. Or if you're struggling with anxiety or just feeling overwhelmed by everything, Hallow offers mental health meditations and prayers that I have found useful. From healing emotional wounds to establishing healthy habits, these guided prayers give you words of comfort and longing when you're all out of things to say. If you're ready to find some peace in the chaos and some purpose in your day, check out Hallow. Right now, when you sign up at hallow.com/Delony, you get 3 months for free. That's Hallow, HALLOW.com/Delony for 3 months for free. All right, before we go to Atlanta, Georgia, take 2 seconds, please, and hit the subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube or on podcast. If you'll just take a second, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, wherever you're consuming the show, please just hit the subscribe button. Or if you want to be a real gangster, just leave a 5-star review. It just kicks the show up into different algorithms. The show is growing at a pace that is hard to even wrap our heads around, and that's because you're listening, you're sharing it with your friends. But if you'll take a second to just let our internet overlords know that you're listening, it makes such a huge difference. All right, Atlanta, Georgia, let's talk to Sophia. What's up, Sophia?
Hi, how are you?
How are you, love? How are we doing?
I'm doing okay.
Awesome. What's up?
So my question is, how do I open up to my friends when I'm struggling? Because I've had times in the past where I've reached out and not gotten that support, and I have a really hard time kind of moving past that when I'm like in a crisis moment. And this last year has been really hard.
Hold on. Do me a favor. Take a huge deep breath, as deep as you can.
Yeah.
Hold it. 3, 2.
Sorry.
No, don't stop. You're apologizing just for breathing. Don't. Okay. Hold on. We're not there yet. Hold on. You're good. Okay.
Okay.
And maybe nobody has ever let you just breathe before, but you're called me. You're allowed to breathe. Okay. No apologize.
Okay.
I don't want you to apologize for your existence.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you've reached out to friends before when you need some help and some support, and they haven't been there for you. Tell me about that.
Yeah, and they told me, there was a couple times that I did reach out, and they told me that they knew I wasn't okay, but they feel like when I'm not okay and we try to talk about it, they have to kind of pull the answer out of me, and it makes them not want to reach out.
Okay.
And they're right.
I was going to say, are they correct?
Yeah, no, they're right.
Okay.
I kind of do this shutdown thing.
Okay.
And I know where it comes from. It just, I don't know how to get past doing that.
All right, let me ask you, I'm interrupting you on purpose because I want to break this train of thought, because you have a roller coaster that you get on, and that sucker just heads down the track and you feel out of control. So I want to stop it. And by doing this, I know people on the internet are like, you always interrupt. Sometimes I do it strategically, just like this, because I want to prove to you that you can stop the train too, okay?
Yeah.
So what does, and this is a strange question, what does shutting down, what does that get you? It gets you something. It's your body trying to help you out. What does it get you?
It feels safe.
All right, tell me about that.
When I was a kid, I had I've kind of been through an insane amount of trauma, just a ridiculous amount. And when I was a kid, I started having behavioral issues because of it. And so what my parents did, they suspected there was some abuse going on, but instead of helping me with it, anytime I got emotional, I would get hit. And then my mom realized that if it was a day where I was going to have an emotional breakdown, it was easier to get it out of the way in the morning. So she's admitted this to me as an adult. She used to kind of push me to a point of breakdown and then kind of hit me till I stopped. And then the rest of the day would be a lot easier for her because I would be too checked out to have any issues.
Hold on. My God, Sophia, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Were you being sexually abused?
Yeah, by like a church leader. And my parents were on staff, but they weren't Christians. It was a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
They it was weird. It was a weird dynamic.
It wasn't, hold on, it wasn't weird. It was evil and caustic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like really, really messed up.
Okay, it wasn't weird.
Right.
It was evil. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
So,
Let's just sit here for a second. You've been blown by this your whole life. I want you to sit in it for a second. I'm sitting here with you, okay?
yeah.
I'm not the best dad in the world. I'm trying, but I'm not. But I tell you what, man, I'll burn the world down for my daughter. And that's how dads are supposed to be with their kids.
Yeah.
My wife would do the same. And that's what you should have had.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm sorry.
Thanks.
So being quiet has served you well your entire life, right?
Yeah. Well, and what really is the part I'm kind of having the hardest time with is I did the work on all that stuff. Like I kind of, so as soon as I turned 18, I went and got my driver's license and had my friend teach me to drive because my parents wouldn't let me. I walked to work until I could afford a car. As soon as I got an apartment, I got multiple jobs so I could afford to go to therapy. Like I've done all the things, and I really did a lot of work on all of that and got to a point where I was really, really stable. And I even got to where my therapist was like, I don't think you really need therapy anymore. And I was like, hey, I don't think so either. And I kind of got solid. And then this year happened, and I feel like I just, you use the bricks in the backpack analogy. I feel like I unlocked all those bricks, and then I went through another thing, and all of those bricks came back, and I wasn't really expecting that. I kind of thought, I'll work through this, and it might come up a little bit, but I didn't expect it all to just come back so strongly.
Yeah. What happened this year?
So I got to a place where I was really stable, right? And so I ended up ending my relationship with my dad, which was really good. But that was still hard. I still was working through that. And then 2 months after that, so when I got stable, I ended up getting involved in ministry. Met this guy who it was a long distance thing, but I did ministry in his area. And he was a pillar of the community type, church leader, and everyone trusted him. Everyone vouched for him. We really hit it off. We started a relationship. We ended up getting engaged. I was going to move down there. It was one of those I was selling everything to go and serve the poor, type of thing, and was really excited for this whole new life. And then 5 months before the wedding, a kid came forward and accused him of molesting him. And my whole world crashed. And the craziest part is I handled it well in the moment of okay, instead of freaking out and flying off the handle, I was what's going on? I need to be involved in all of this. I need to know all the details. I need to know from someone other than you what's going on down there. And if you're innocent, then we can find a way to work through this. If you're not, obviously that's I will go full nuclear, right? But in the middle of me trying to be rational and work through the situation, I kind of poured my heart out to him and was this is where I'm at, and we're going to pause the wedding because this comes first. This needs to be dealt with. Obviously, something's happening to this kid because of the things he's saying. And the next day he called me and ended the relationship and told me that now that our relationship's over, I didn't need to investigate or tell anyone what was going on. So that to me was a huge, if you're innocent, why would you say that?
So can I pause you real quick again?
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how proud of you I am. What you did tells me that you've done an extraordinary amount of work. And I think on the other side of quote unquote doing the work, there's this idea that I'm never going to get hurt again.
Yeah.
Or I'm never going to feel this bad again. And that's not true.
Right.
Right? You can get out of the hospital after like having your knee reconstructed, and the day you graduate from physical therapy, you can still get hit by a car again, right?
Right.
But listen, you got hit by a car again. You let yourself love. You let yourself go back into a church building of all places. You let yourself be connected to a minister again.
Yeah.
But the moment things went sideways, all that work came into play. You stood your ground and you said, whoa, before we go, I'm not going to walk down an aisle with you. I've been down that before. Not down an aisle, but I'm not protecting anybody anymore. I care about this kid.
Right.
That is an amazing amount of work you've done. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And you have to deal with the heartbreak, and you have to deal with all of the, oh my gosh, how did I get suckered into this again? Are all ministers like this? And by the way, they're not. But
no, I know
you've got a radar for it, right?
Yeah.
And so this is just like I'm throwing it out there. Maybe don't date ministers anymore, right? But
yeah. No.
like on this side of this, it's a tremendous, extraordinary example of how much work you've put in.
Yeah.
You're an amazing success story, because your first thought was, I'm not going to fall right back into the old pattern, which is we protect the minister. I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to keep my mouth shut, or I'm going to get hit.
Right.
You said, no, I'm standing with this kid. And until I find out what's going on, I'm not moving forward in your life. I'm not going to be your protector. I'm not going to be your cover. I'm standing with the hurting child.
Yeah.
God bless you, dude. Amazing.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, keep going.
Well, then right after that, the kid recanted and said it didn't happen. And that he was trying to get out of tutoring, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know whether it happened or not. I don't know that, I know kids recant. I also know false accusations do happen. I feel like I don't know what that was.
Hold on. Can I ask you a question? I'm interrupting you again.
Yeah.
What does your gut tell you?
I think he did it.
Okay. That's all that matters right now.
Yeah.
That's it. Healing does not mean the sensitive parts of your spirit scab over forever, get calloused.
Yeah.
Healing means you can think about your mom and your body doesn't throw you back into when you were 3 or 4 or 5 years old and she's beating the crap out of you before school.
Right.
That's what healing means. And the real challenge for someone who's been through the hell that you've lived through, from people who had one job and that was to love their daughter, is the only way a marriage works is for you to allow yourself the potential to be hurt again by somebody.
Yeah.
And you did that. And God Almighty, it happened again.
Right.
That doesn't mean you're broken. That doesn't mean you're unhealed. That means you were so healed up, you did the work that you can disconnect from your mom and dad because they literally are evil. And you had the courage to walk back into a church again. And that stomped on your soul again. You let yourself attempt to be loved by somebody, and he stomped on your heart again.
Right.
So let me reframe all of it. Dude, your body's working perfectly.
Right.
Okay? You're right to be really sad. And you're right to be heartbroken.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I think, sorry.
No, go ahead. Don't be sorry. Stop saying you're sorry.
Okay. I think the one part where I'm this is where I recognize I need to work is all of that, yes, that's makes sense. But I have a really fantastic group of friends and they're my church family, and I love them to death, and they're there for me. And I have shut that down with them too. And I really don't know how to stop doing that part of it because I don't want to keep shutting down on them and then getting it to the point where they don't even want to reach out because I keep shutting down, but I don't know how to get to where I can reach out, and I desperately need to.
Okay. You have to decide you're worth the risk again. And it may be worth calling 3 or 4 of your friends and saying, who know your story, I love you guys and I trust you guys, and I'm going to ask you that if you see me curling up in a ball, y'all have permission to reach out a hand. Listen to me very carefully, okay?
Yeah.
The prevailing sense under all of this is a very common response when a mom and a dad treat you like you were treated. When a spiritual advisor treats you like he treated you. You have this prevailing sense that is woven into your nervous system that you're a burden on other people.
Yeah.
And you're not a burden.
How do I believe that? How do I get...
There's one way. You have to practice. You're not going to be able to think your way to it. And let me tell you, on the other side, the greatest gift in my life is when someone I love and care about reaches out and says, hey, can I talk? Because what it gives me is a job. It gives me purpose.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. Okay? And so it's actually, you're a gift, not a burden. And if you tell your friends, hey, if this ever gets to be too much, let me know, then they get to be grown-ups and decide their level of boundaries. And I have friends that will call me and we'll talk for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I'll say, hey, this is exceeding my ability to help you on the phone. I want you to call this person. I did that this weekend. I was out of the state and somebody that I love here in Nashville called and said, hey, I need to talk to you for a second. We talked for an hour and I said, hey, I'm in another state. You need some help right now. Here's a number. And I sent them a number of a personal friend of mine who is good at this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But never were they a burden.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Anytime you feel like a burden, I want you to think this. Actually, I want you, if you can, here's the deal. I think you can. There's a narrative that you can't. And that's what I want. I don't want you to go to war with yourself anymore. You've been through enough war, but I want you to challenge deeply this idea that you cannot. Because I think you can. Anytime you feel like a burden or I want to text them, but it's too much, I want you to say out loud or write down in your journal, Dad, Mom, you don't get a vote anymore. Because what you're doing is you go back to 7-year-old you and you're looking out of the side of your eye at your mom to see if she's raising a fist on you.
Yeah.
And she didn't get a vote. Those men and women who are amazing, who keep showing up for you, they get a vote. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to find somebody in town. And I want you to look for somebody who is a trauma-informed therapist.
Yeah.
And I want you to ask for body work. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're at a point now where sitting around and talking about it has run its course. I want you to sit with somebody who will help, like somebody who has been trained. And I've done this, and it's unfathomable how good it is. But it sucks, but it releases it from your nervous system. So now I can just be in a bad mood. Now I can just be angry. Now I can just whatever without just going whoosh all the way back. Not fun, but man, it's magic. It's not magic. It's just science, but it is what it is. But you might be there now. And maybe you weren't totally healed. Maybe you finally got yourself to safety, which is such an extraordinary accomplishment. But hear me say this. I'm going to let you go, but I want you to hear me say this. You're worth having friends, and you're worth reaching out to people. And in those moments when you say, I can't do it, I want you to exhale and say, Mom and Dad, you don't get a vote. I can. And then make that call or make that text. The work you're doing is extraordinary. And call a trauma-informed counselor in your area and say, I want to do some body work. And I've got a pretty hellacious childhood. And I want to let it go, not just from my head, but I want to let it go from my nervous system, from my body. You're amazing, Sophia. You call me anytime, anyway, okay? And I'll be there to show up for you and listen. Thank you so much for being brave and for making this call. While you're in a good space right now, I want you to reach out to your friends today. Set up a coffee meeting, and I want you to make an announcement. Sophia's back. Sophia's here. And y'all are going to be my ride or dies. Game on. We come back. A man asks if he should support his friend who's facing criminal charges. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Life can be a mess. Work can be stressful. And when these collide, when your regular life and your work life just smash together, your mind and your body feel it. And there's plenty of data showing how workplace stress and even your boss can have a major impact on your mental and emotional stress. And most of us can't just take a vacation from work every time that we want to, but we can start with small steps to manage our work stress. First, we got to do the things that keep our bodies and relationships strong. Exercise, sunlight, eating right, relationship check-ins. And when you need someone to sit with you and help you navigate things moving forward, getting a great therapist to help walk with you can be a game changer. If you're thinking about trying therapy, reach out to my friends at BetterHelp. BetterHelp is 100% online, which means it's affordable and it's convenient. No 6-month waiting lists. To get started, you just fill out a short online survey to get matched with a licensed therapist. And as the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. And BetterHelp has an App Store rating of 4.9 out of 5 stars based on over 1.7 million client reviews. It's incredible. Manage your workday challenges with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Delony to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Delony. All right, Minneapolis, let's talk to Jack. What's up, Jack?
Hey, John, I hope you're doing good today. So yeah, I can just kind of jump on into my question.
Yes, one dog, right, dude.
Sweet. So yeah, a close friend of mine a couple months ago was caught in a sting operation for allegedly showing up to meet with a minor. And I can obviously give more details.
I think I'm good. I'm good on details on that one. Got it.
His marriage might be over.
It should be.
Jail time.
It should be.
I just want to know if I should continue supporting him, and if so, like, how should I?
Oh, man. I think it's going to depend on what the word support means.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by support?
So I think, like, it'd be a little more difficult if we lived in the same place. We currently don't. So that makes it easier to, I guess, have more of like a physical boundary. But I guess because it's been an ongoing thing the incident was probably 2 months ago or so now. And kind of since he called me and made me aware, he'd gone to jail and kind of everything that he's going through, we've had some pretty consistent like contact, like texting him and just trying to be there to, whether it's sending him like a scripture or, just calling him to check in on how he's doing. And he's asked me to write a character letter for him. And I've known him since, like we were middle of high school and we're in our mid-20s now. But, just wanting to know, like, if, like, I should continue to, like, be there for him or if I need to be taking a step back.
Yeah, I've got some pretty concrete thoughts on this, and I'm trying to decide whether to just let them all out here in this format, but I guess I will. You called, and I've always committed to just being honest. So I had a close friend of mine who called and was dating a woman. And that woman had a teenage son. And the teenage son got caught with a bunch of child pornography. And my buddy called and said, hey, she contacted an attorney. It's going to be $1 jillion, but the attorney thinks we can do this, and then this and this, and get this reduced in X, Y, or Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my buddy, you have 2 daughters. You want this kid out on the street? And he got quiet and he said, no. And I said, you can manipulate the criminal justice system. He was just calling to say, hey, man, do I give my girlfriend a bunch of money to whatever? But there was a deeper question. And I said, that's his mom. And so she should sit by him in court and hold his hand. But she should also walk him to jail because he's a predator who hurts kids. And if I'm you and I have a long-term, one of my oldest friends in the world, number one, you got to ask yourself if there have been signs for a long time that you just kind of blew by. And if there are, you got to deal with you on that. The second is sometimes we just get shocked. We get surprised. And I would tell my buddy, I've known you for 20-something years. This stuns me. It disgusts me. But I'm going to call you. And I'll be a contact for you. I will not write you a character letter with the intent of reducing the impact you're going to have on hurting children in the community. So if I have I'm thinking of a couple of my oldest friends on the planet right now, I would tell them directly, I will not write you a letter if this is true. Because you're not who I thought you were, or I've kept quiet and you're exactly who I knew you were. Either way, I can't write a letter in good conscience because you hurt kids. But I'll sit by you during your court hearing. I'll hug you before you go to jail. And I just, and I know that answer is going to get me in trouble with everybody. I don't believe in cutting people off. I also don't believe in lying and trying to manipulate systems, especially when people hurt children.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Definitely. No, for sure. And it's like, it's so hard, right? Because it's someone that I've known for a while, right? And maybe you hear of these stories and I'm on the other side of it, right? And it's maybe my wife and one of her friends is going through this. I'd be like, you know what that guy's scum of the earth, right? And
2 things can be true. You can have a friend. You can have a friend for 30 years or 20 years, and you'll have a ton of great times together. And you've told him a lot of your deep, dark secrets, and he's told you yours, and he was in your wedding, and he can hurt children. Both are true. And if you write that letter, you're contributing to him getting out early, potentially, to go hurt another kid. So I'm going to tell you that's on you. The second one is we often start scrambling to try to do something. Right? And it's our own, we're just trying to burn activity so that we don't have to grieve the fact that we just lost a 20-year friend because our friend's not a good person. Or our friend did a really evil thing. And you and I both know the odds that he got caught the very first time are basically 0.
Yeah, no, and he kind of had alluded to, right, like there was a lot leading up to it. And the 2.5 years he's been married, pornography issues for a long, long time.
Yeah, there's a lot. 90-something% of men look at pornography.
Right. But
very few men meet.
90% don't cross that line.
That's exactly right. So, he can say everything he wants and paint you a story, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He has and was going to again sexually abuse a child. I'm out.
Yeah.
But I'll sit with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that sounds weird and messy and whatever.
Right.
But
I guess is there like any particular like verbiage or like when I'm talking to him, because it's like I feel like I'm almost trying to walk like a tightrope a little bit.
well, I'm not walking tightropes. He doesn't get that vote in your head anymore.
I mean, like as far as like how I express like my support for him and be there for him while also not, I definitely not condoning the action. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, but here's what
Like,
you're trying to
balancing
do.
that.
You're trying to say it just right so he won't get mad or that he won't feel hurt. You can't own that. The only thing you can own from this point forward is who you are and who you are going to continue to be as a person of integrity. And as a person of integrity, I don't abandon my friends. And as a person of integrity, I don't let anybody hurt children.
Yeah.
And so there's not a soft way to say this. And since is he in house arrest or is he in jail right now?
He's monitored.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And so if you don't live in the same town as him and you can't have this conversation in person, then you call him on the phone and you say, dude, I've done some soul searching. Here's where I'm at. You're my 20-year friend and I'm going to call you every week. If you go to jail, I'm going to write you letters and I'm going to do my best to visit you. Because friends don't abandon friends. And I cannot write you a letter of support because you're not who I thought you were.
Right.
And I won't write you a letter of support. Are you freaking kidding me, man, after all? Yes. I'm drawing a line. And he might hang up on you and never talk to you again. And then you're going to have to grieve the fact that your friendship wasn't what you thought it was.
Yeah.
And so he's already shown you what kind of friend he is by putting you in this position.
Yeah, no, definitely feelings of like betrayal a little for sure. And obviously like at least on my side, I'm sure, his wife would see more signs of it than I would. But yeah, like just totally caught everyone off guard other than, I'd expect his wife probably maybe had seen signs, but
maybe not. I mean, it's a waste of energy to even go there.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. He does not get a vote. And all I can tell you is what I would do if it was one of my closest, oldest friends.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you don't see a problem as long as it's in a way of, hey, I'm with you. I'm here to support you through this.
I wouldn't use that language.
What you've done.
I would not use the language. I'm here to support you. I would say I'll sit with you in court, but I'm not supporting you. I'm not supporting. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I guess that's kind of what I was talking about earlier with kind of walking that line of
probably the language I would say is
I'm not show the love.
I'm not going to abandon
without,
you.
Like condoning, Okay.
I'm not going to abandon you, but I can't support what you did.
For sure.
And so I'm not a believer in abandonment. If I say I'm in, I'm in. If I say you're my friend, you're my friend. But that might mean I'm coming to visit you in jail. I'm not going to make up lies with the authorities so that you can potentially go hurt another child. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Do you have kids?
No, not yet.
I do. I don't want this guy on the street.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Okay. This is a bellwether moment for you to find out what kind of man you are. And men do not run from messy middles. Men run right into the middle of it. And the messy middle here is I'm not going to abandon a 20-year friend. And I'm not going to lie. Right. And just because you went to church camp with me and did community service doesn't mean you're not also a child molester.
Yeah, they can both be true.
That's right. And right, in this case, it sounds like both are true. So that's the best I can tell you, brother. I hate that he put you in this position. So do what you're going to do, man. But I wouldn't abandon a friend, but I'm sure not writing him a letter. And I'm not going to try to get him out of jail, but I'll sit with them as they get sentenced. And I think that's what the world needs more of, less abandonment and more accountability, all at the same time. We'll be right back. Everybody's talking about AI and the internets and your digital privacy, and I want to give you a quick word about my friends at Delete Me. Does anyone else feel like our digital footprints are starting to feel like digital trails, leading bad scam artists right back to us? Right now, scammers are using phishing attacks with a PH where they try to trick you into giving them something by pretending to know you. You might get an email or a text or a phone call, and the person or the AI bot more than likely on the other end sounds like someone who's trying to help you out. They're not. And with these new technological advancements that are moving way faster than any of us can comprehend, no one is really safe. So what are we supposed to do? You can start controlling what you can. You can learn about how to be careful online and offline with your digital privacy, and you can sign up with Delete Me. I use and recommend Delete Me because they work in the background to reduce my online presence. And that way I don't have to worry about creepy data brokers having my information. They've reviewed over tens of thousands of sites for me, and they've removed my data from hundreds of them, which has saved me countless hours and a ton of stress. Stop the phishing attacks, the harassment, and the other online threats before they even start, and take control of your digital privacy with Delete Me. Go to joindeleteme.com/Delony today for 20% off the annual plan. That comes out to less than $9 a month. That's joindeleteme.com/Delony. Go check them out. All right, we're back. Kelly, we got a money and marriage question here. By the way, we'll put a link in the show notes here if you're watching this. The money marriage event for November is on sale, and the Valentine's Day weekend getaway here in Nashville. Both of those are in Nashville. Both of those are entire weekends with me and my buddy Rachel Cruz and a bunch of special guests. And I'm kind of biased, but I think it's the best marriage event for you and your spouse on the planet. It's awesome. And but it's here live with us, and so check it out in the show notes if you want to come. Here's a question that came in the anonymous question box during the last Money and Marriage retreat. So how do we get out of the TV phone cycle after work every day? I want real experiences, but it feels like we can't get away from screens. This may be the easiest one ever. Are you ready? Okay, two cool things. I didn't know this about screens, either TVs or iPads or phones, but it's amazing. They have a button on the side of them, and it just says off. Actually, they took the words off. But you can turn them off. More honestly and realistically, you can take your TV out of your living room and put it in a closet. How do I know? I've actually done this thing. Took the TVs out, unplugged them, so that when I wanted to watch something, I had to go through a process to turn it back on. When it comes to phones, I've been through seasons where I leave my phone in my car. It just doesn't leave. It doesn't leave my car. I have two phones right now. One has social media on it, and it's a work tool. And the way I like to look at that is, like, I build houses, and I have to have social media as a tool. If you were a home builder and you sat in a restaurant with a drill going, that would be ridiculous. Or if you took a hammer and a board and at your dinner table or on your couch, you were just hammering away at it, that would be absurd. Well, social media is a tool. I get people have to have it for their jobs and to check in with their moms and dad, fine. But it stays in the car. It stays in your work bag. And if you can't afford to have it on a second phone, don't have it. Or if you can't control yourself, the first thing they tell you to do if you're struggling with alcohol is get all the alcohol out of your house. Stop going to places where they serve it. And so it has to be that caustic. And here's the thing. You're talking 30 days. I'm telling you, 30 days, and your body will readjust. If you take your TV out and you unplug it and you take the cord away and you put the cord in a closet, leave the TV in the living room, fine. Take it out of your bedroom, for God's sake, but leave it in somewhere. And or take the cord out and just get rid of the cord, hide the cord, put it somewhere so that if you want to watch a movie on a Friday night, you got to go dig it out, go plug it back in, go punch all the codes back in. And at that point, you're going to be like, this sucks. Let's just go out to eat. Let's go to a movie. Let's go dancing. But you have to here's the nerd word, you have to put barriers in front of yourself if you want to change a behavior. Or the nerd way to say that is you have to create behavioral friction. And if you go through all this rigmarole and you or your spouse, the phone's in the house, you're like, no, phone in the car. But I got it. No, phone in the car. And now we're just sitting here staring at each other. You know what you might do? Have sex. You know what you might do? Like, go out. You know what you might do? Like, something. But you won't just instantly flip on a screen. So that's my thoughts. And by the way, if everyone will do this for 30 days, you'll be stunned at how your body re-regulates itself. And it will jump right back in if you let it. But man, it's 30 days of this sucks. And then you break that initial crave cycle. And then you can get on to having a real life on the other side of the screens. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Actually, there's no school. Enjoy your summer. But still, don't do drugs. I mean, unless you're Kelly, and God almighty, those smells in the house. You can do all the drugs you want, sister. You are on you. I would be doing whatever I had to do to get that smell out of my nose. So there you go, sister. Love you guys. Bye.